Team news, Brian, first of all?
Yes. Brett Delaney will be available, and Mitch Garbutt won't be available with still from concussion, actually, from the Huddersfield game. His wife has given birth in meantime, so he's dealing with a bit of that as well. They're over here on their own. But unfortunately, Keith Galloway won't be available. He just got something caught in his knee yesterday at training, so it looks like he's having a bit of a clean out there. So let's hope it's just a couple of week job, but I suppose that's the big news, that Keith will be missing at the weekend.
Without Keith and without Mitch Garbutt, does it leave you a little light?
Probably. It probably does, and then we've got to make sure that we counter that by doing something else. A lot of that rests then on the likes of Singleton and Adam Cuthbertson, who have both, in particular Adam Cuthbertson, have been great this year, and I've been looking forward to this game anyway. But obviously they've got to do a job.
What about the game? A lot of people saying it's the marquee fixture of the weekend.
What does that mean?
The biggest game,
Right.
the big one.
Yeah, I suppose it's Castleford are the form team and have raced out on their own, and I think everybody in the league's scrambling about trying to catch them up. So, and just recently we've got a bit of momentum behind us. So I understand why that would be the case.
Do you mention at all what happened last time to the players?
It's not something we don't talk about, but it's certainly not the main point of prep for us. I was asked a question last week in here after our cup game about the revenge word, and one of our players Ash Golding went up to the Magic Weekend launch, and he got asked about revenge about 55 times. And we're really keen to stress there's no revenge coming from us. Castleford are a good team, playing really well, been prepped and coached really well. We got no issues. I got no issues with Castleford team. They just got us on the day, and blew us away. And I'm not taking anything away from Cass, but I think it's right to say that we didn't handle that the best way we could as well. We got a lot of things wrong that day. Our prep's about us. Our prep's about getting our bit right. That's the big thing for us. Not that we still register that Cass are a good team, and we'll be facing a very good team on Sunday.
Given what Cass did to Saints last week, are they a more formidable challenge than last time?
Do you know what? The Saints game there is almost a carbon copy of when we played them. I think Saints will have a good run this year. They don't become a bad team overnight, and it's a phrase often used, but it's true. And Saints have got a bit more about them. No, they're not. They've got a lot more about them what they showed against Castleford there. So they'll have their run, but they were shot. I think Saints that day, they were mentally shot, and after the first couple of tries, although it was only 10 or 12 points down, psychologically they were way off, which wasn't too dissimilar to when we played them early in the year.
What do you see that's different about your side going into this game against Cass from the last time? But is it just a psychological aspect or more than that?
I wouldn't. There's some obvious things. Look, we can defend, and we defend some tough periods, and some usuals like keeping hold of the ball. Look at Saints' game again, carbon copy to our game. They just threw away some silly passes when it should have equal field position. They got themselves into a position where they could have applied pressure to Castleford, and I think what Castleford do really well is they handle the pressure of being down their end, and they get out of it, but they don't do that much of it. And any pundit, coach, player will tell you that if you don't spending that much time digging out from your deep end of the field, you're going to be all right. And Cass have had a great run this year, of part to do with how good they are as well. That they don't go through that many tough periods in the game, and that's no secret. I'm not letting any secrets out there. And I'm sure Darryl's aware of that, and I'm sure Darryl will be thinking that, will you try and put my team in a tough position, and we'll see if we can get out of it. So there's the challenge that's out there, and our aim will be to try and get Castleford, get them involved in a far tougher game than what they had last time against us.
What about the occasion? Do you embrace the occasion, or do you try and just reinforce it's just another 2 points?
I think it's a good occasion. I think it's something that we should take in. I think it's I've never been a knocker of it. You know, I do ask questions. Do we need it? You know, I say that every time I get asked about it. Is it needed for the game? Is the game needed? Going on the premise that we all play too many games, I think that's widely accepted that we do play a lot of games, and this is an added game into everybody's away and at home fixtures. It's another game on top of it. So you start to think, well, look, do we need it? And if some bloke came back to me and said, look, here's the evidence, here's the data, we make that much money, we get that many sponsors, you know, the corporate side of it, the game is better for it. Good, because I think the actual event's good. I think it's a, you know, the spectacle, the product is very good. We enjoy it. You know, I don't think any team goes up there and it sees it as a pain in the backside.
Could be the last time at Newcastle. What did you make of the venue there?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But then so was Etihad at Manchester. But then so was Cardiff. And so was Edinburgh. They're all good, you know. It's. I think if you just get a decent stadium, I think out of all of them, I think everybody enjoyed Edinburgh the most. Well, look, I did. And a lot of the dialogue you have with people that Edinburgh was a great weekend away for everybody. Manchester's more local, but it's Manchester, it's in Manchester, and we go to Manchester all the time. But I think if you just get a decent venue, a decent ground, the fact that all Super League teams play there over one weekend, you know, you got to take note. It's a big thing though, and it's a good thing how well it runs, and it continues to get better every year as well. So it is a positive.
What about your Challenge Cup quarter-final draw this week?
Yes, we've been running over no Black Cats this year, have we? Avoided Black Cats. Featherston are a good team, and they're you know, we know a lot about Featherston. They're our dual registered club, so I have a hell of a lot of dialogue with John Sharp. You know, our players coming to and fro to their club quite often, so we're aware of the threats they pose. We actually played some mock games in pre-season against Featherston here, and although it was in pre-season, we found those really challenging. They expose us a bit, so yeah, it's we'll pay them due respects and get ready for them.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, obviously Castleford have had a great start to the season, but if you beat them at the weekend, you draw level on points with them. Is that a sign of how well you're doing as well?
It would be. It would be if we do that. The last time we had a chance to go top, probably the best description is touch top, because if we'd have beat Huddersfield a couple of weeks ago, we'd have touched top spot, albeit for 24 or 48 hours. We weren't ready for it. We didn't take it, and we we're going to swear then. We messed about, and that's with respect to Huddersfield. So yeah, that tells me we weren't ready for top spot. So we'll know if we're good enough to be top spot. We don't need to be good enough just yet. We don't need to be good enough mid-season. But you need to have touched top or threatened top or get near top and handle those moments. So you know you've got that steel in your nuts come the back end of the year. You can't flake out. Every time you nearly get to top, if you flake out, I don't know what confidence it does you towards the back end of the year.
And looking at it, I mean, is it nice from your point of view to see some different names with you in the top four, or are you not bothered who's there? They've all got to be beaten anyway.
Nice.
Well, different, I guess, for the sport. Teams like Salford, who's not seen up there, Castleford in there again.
Why is that good?
I'm asking the question.
I know you are. I'm not trying to be difficult. Everybody always talks about, well, it's nice to have somebody else. Well, I don't know. Again, I don't profess to be a strategist of the game or somebody who plans the game. But the fact that there's only a few clubs in Premiership football that are ever going to win the title doesn't really harm them. You know, we've equalled out our competition, incredibly equalled out our competition, levelled it out over the last 20 years. So the strong top four have become less so, and those at the bottom of the league could beat top four. Genuine, that's the one. I know there's always a shock horror when we get beat by whoever, but the reality is, you know, Wakefield, Castleford. Look at Castleford, being relegated twice in Super League, and now everybody's trying to be like them. And it all makes great headlines, and it gives everybody a warm, glowy feeling. I don't know whether it's good for the game though. I'm not saying it isn't. But everybody just keeps saying that, saying it's nice that there might be a different name up there. Do you think the Daily Mirror or the Sun or the tabloids in London are going to start writing more about rugby league because another team's won the title? That's the question I ask, and that's what we're all aiming for, isn't it?
Well,
So,
can I turn it round then? And
I'll
say,
give you more questions than answers there, haven't I?
Can I turn it round then and say, have the other teams caught the big four up, if you like,
Yep.
or have maybe the big four come back a little?
I think there's a bit of both. Clearly, there were some teams at the Turner Super League, and I remember, even though I was a player, that when you went down their end, if you was literally to string 3 passes together across their defensive line, you'd score. And that defences across the board now. I don't think there's a poor defensive team in the league. There's a few teams that have different defensive strategies, and some teams get exposed more or whatever. But I don't think any teams poor defensively. I don't think there's any lazy defensive teams in Super League. It's hard to score a try. Defences have got a hell of a lot more energy about them. I think everybody's clicked into that. So certainly the teams at the lower end of the league are far better than what they were at the Turner Super League. But you've got to say that the really strong Wigan team and the really dominant Saints team and the really dominant Bradford team, you know, three clubs there who were prominent at the start of Super League, have been levelled out. They've come down a peg or two.
Is it good that this battle with Castleford, it seems to be becoming one of the biggest fixtures? James mentioned it earlier. It seems to be becoming one of the biggest fixtures in the calendar now. Does it feel like that to you guys now?
Probably. I know it's always been a big fixture for Castleford, and we've always been aware that when we play Cas, we don't get an easy run. And just over the last 2 seasons, they've had a really good run against us. You know, they've put some numbers on us, put some scores on us over the last 2 or 3 seasons. So yeah, I would regard this as a big fixture for sure.
And is it a benchmark maybe where you're at the minute, this fixture?
Go on.
Well, you underperformed in the first game by your own admission. So is this more a truer test? Do you feel your team are in a better place now?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good one. We'll find out. We'll find out. It's a test for us about where we're at. Should we not meet that challenge, and fall short, we're mid-season-ish, so it's not all is lost, but it gives us a good indicator where we're at for sure.
We're just going to ask about Joel Moon. He's obviously played at the halves now for a few weeks. Do you see him, obviously he's come to a great centre, but he's played half before years ago. Do you see him now as a long-term half-back?
I wouldn't say that just yet, but I've got no plans to move him from that position right now.
Yeah, so moving into next season maybe you see him as a...
There's a chance, I wouldn't...
Because he's always had that ability as well, hasn't he? He's always had that.
I don't think he's doing anything different, by the way. He's just doing it in the middle third of the field instead of over on that left-hand side. Yeah. And if you work out what it is that he does, can you let me know? And that's the strength of him, that's his ability. That sometimes you think, where the hell is he running? And is he falling over? He's tripping up. Surely he's tripping. Oh no, he's made a break. And that's how he looks. And I think for years Ryan Hall was extremely well serviced by Keith Senior. And then since Joel Moon's come in, it isn't that Ryan Hall hasn't had any joy, but he's having less joy. He's not a winger centre Mooney. He's a team centre almost. We get a lot off him, either off his actual run where he's making breaks and finding a pass that equals a try, or he gets down and plays it quickly after scattering the defence, and then we go again. So you just bring that facet of his game and just shift it into the middle of the field, and it's working for us at the moment. I don't think I'm at that stage where I'm putting a stamp of a number 6 on his back and saying you're the man. Could be though.
Has it worked better than you expected though? Because obviously it was
always in the plan, that. Never unexpected. No, yeah, I knew he'd be a safe option. I knew he'd be a good option for us, but for sure I think everybody's raised their eyebrow and think, wow, he's got some stuff there.
Brian, just hearing from Ash during the week, he seemed to give the impression that because you are mid-season, as you've said, you're not going to live or die depending on the result that you get this weekend. Is that the message that you've been going out to your players?
No. We never speak with that amount of finality, if that's the right word. There's never a case of we've got to win this game, and I would never dare dream say to them, it doesn't really matter if we don't win, no matter how you try and dress it up. So sometimes you just keep quiet and don't speak about it. I think the occasion itself, the fact that we're playing Castle, but I don't need to say anything based on what happened last week, the last time we played them, based on where we've been for 18 months. we all know it's a big game. You know, they don't need me banging a drum about that.
As a coach, how do you approach the two different games that you'll have had in a week, going from a comfortable cup win like that to facing who are the toughest team in Super League at the moment? How do you approach that as a coach with your players? They'll know the jobs that I take it that they'll have to do, and the mentality that has to change.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue. It won't be an issue for us. We paid Barrow a lot of respect. It was the Challenge Cup, and then we're in the quarterfinals now of the Challenge Cup, so that was a significant fixture for us. Everybody talks about the amount of players I didn't rest for the Barrow game, but I didn't have that many. There's not a raft of players who were frustrated by not playing at the weekend. We've always had a philosophy of, if you're not getting regular first team and you're good enough, you go play for a championship team against men. So we sent a few there out on loan. And you know, we did a good job of positioning Barrow in a certain, you know, on a certain target for us, beat them, but then let's get ready for this one. I don't think there's going to be an issue with getting them back up for it.
And with playing Featherston, obviously in the quarters, does that give you, do you think, some difficult team selection decisions to make as we advance in Super League as well?
Go on.
For the Featherston Rovers fixture?
Difficult team selections?
Yes, in terms of how you would play a cup quarter-final against the lower league side.
I'll be putting my best team out against Featherston. I wanted to win it, and I wanted to win it well. I don't think I'm not that good where I can say, well, let's just beat them by 18 points and therefore we'll only put this team. No, we'll be putting our best team out. We want to get through to semi-final.
Thank you.
Is Cal back?
Callum is back, yes. Yep.
Believe the
Carry on.
I'm going to say,
Are we still going, or is this one of those unofficial ones? Yeah.
If it's benefiting from the rest, but it's crap questions. So
Don't put yourself down.
Well, it is.
Leave me to do that.